So this is a compilation of the footage that I got of how I made my Toothiana headdress for my Rise of the Guardians cosplay a couple years ago for my first ever Comic-Con. So the design is based on the French hood from the Tudor period, which is something I had made before, and you can see me here cutting out felt shapes based on the pattern I had drafted for that. And then what I did after that is I sewed some very thin kind of floral wire into the shapes to help give them some structure and combined them. So I had my basic French hood shape as you can see here. So a French hood is generally worn over a bonnet or cap underneath the French hood to protect the hair, and I actually ended up using that cap as part of the design of the headdress. I attached some of the feathers to it down the road, so what you'll see here is just me kind of hastily sewing together and then cutting out the fabric for that hood and then finishing the edges by hand, just kind of throwing it together because it's really not going to be visible once you get all the feathers put on it. And this part's mainly just to kind of hold everything against my head.
Trust the process. Just gotta trust the process. Still trust in the process, even though I can't see. Look like an alien.
So what you saw in those previous couple of clips was me experimenting with the right color for the piece of felt that ended up getting attached to that underneath like cap and kind of covering the front part of my face. I ended up trimming it quite a bit, but I did end up putting some feathers and embellishing that to mimic how her look is in the movie and the books. And then as you can see me in this clip here, I started attaching the feathers and they were attached in layers because the way that her feathers are in the look in the movie, it's kind of a gradient effect with like the lightest feathers towards the front and then darker feathers towards the back. So I was imitating that in how I was attaching those feathers. And as you can see here, it really just took a lot of trial and error and kind of wearing the thing and putting the feathers on while it was on my head sometimes. This also gives you a better view of how it was made up of the two pieces. You have the undercap with kind of the green feathers on the front, and then you have the actual French hood over the top, and the front of the French hood kind of sits underneath those green feathers, so it creates a really good seamless transition. I really love how it ended up turning out. It really was kind of cool to see how taking a historical garment piece like a French hood and adapting it to a different context really worked really well.
I look like I've been attacked by a green chicken. Ah. Yeah, I'm trying to create Toothiana, but in the process, it kind of just looks like she's been.
And the last step of the feathering process was to add some yellow feathers around the ears and then one big yellow feather up at the top. And then at the very end, I didn't get any footage of it, but I did end up putting some sequins along kind of the edge where it goes along my face. That wasn't from the book or anything. I just really liked how that looked and I like putting sequins on things, so I did that. But yeah, here are some pictures of my original sketch, which was a combination of the designs from the movie and the book. And here are some pictures of the finished cosplay. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thank you for watching.